Hey guys, welcome back to my 30-day challenge of one no-code AI app a day. In today's video, let's look at how to use mypow.io to build an end-to-end job application processor. I'm not an HR expert in any means, but I have helped many customers build out their HR assistant engine. So I think it could make a great topic for a YouTube video. Now, unlike my previous video about the ebook generator, I actually haven't built out this system yet as a template to run beforehand to show you how it works. So we are going to do everything together now. I just have a little diagram to visualize how this system may look like so that we can have some clarity about the requirements before jumping into the building part. Now, I break down the job application processing into three main phases. The first phase is the CV screening route, where you can provide some information about the candidate, and we do a quick CV screening route. And if the candidate passes that first route, we will move them to the interview route. And in this case, AI can come in and help you to prepare all the questions you should ask. Then, but if the candidate doesn't pass the CV screening step, it should stop there. Now, after the interview step, we can now make a final decision about whether or not we would accept this candidate as an official employee. And if it's a yes, then we will have a process, a different process to handle the candidate in this case. If it's a no, then we also have other steps to handle too. So, this is an overall look into the system. I know that each business would have your own business context and requirements, so feel free to customize this to anything that you see fit. The point here is you should be very clear about what you expect the system to do and how humans can help the AI along the way so that we can build out a system that can actually work the way you want. Okay? Now, let's dig deeper into each of these phases to see how it goes. So, in the first part, CV screening, we would take in the applicant CV and job description, and then we can do some basic analysis, including the minimum requirements match, relevant experience and achievements, and a clarity presentation or any red flags of the profile. And then based on all of these analysis, we will have the AI to do a recommendation. And then for this CV screening process, I'm thinking that I would like to use Gemini, because Gemini 2.0 Flash is very fast, and I think the speed is like good aspect to think of when it comes to the CV screening step, because we would like this step to be fast as well. So, and then the AI would make the recommendation for the CV screening route, but actually the human should be the ones to make the final decision. So we would have a step here to ask for the human whether they wanted to accept this candidate to the interview route. If it's a yes, we would execute the interview workflow. If it's a no, then we should stop the workflow here. So this is my thinking right now, but if you want to do something else here, if the answer is no for the candidate, you can also add more steps here too. You don't have to necessarily stop the workflow here. So it's up to you to decide. But in this case, if I don't think I want to do anything, if I reject the candidate after the CV screening route, so I'm just gonna stop the workflow here. And to facilitate this kind of behavior, we will use a node on MyPal called gate. So gate is like gatekeeping. It will like force stop the workflow if the decision for accepting to the interview is no. So we will use the gate for that. So remember that. Now, if the candidate is accepted, we will move on to the next step where we can generate the interview questionnaire to help the interviewer in their next interview. Now, this is a workflow that I see all of my customers do because a lot of the times coming up with a comprehensive, relevant, and meaningful questionnaire is harder than it may look like at first, and also it's harder to ensure the consistency in quality too. So a lot of business owners I talk to would prefer to set up a system to suggest the questionnaire and pass that to the human interviewer to execute the questionnaire and gather the results. And in this interview questionnaire generator, I'm thinking to make it like this. I would have a agent first here to analyze the profile and coming up with an interview strategy. So essentially identifying all of the aspects or key talking points of the candidate profile and like point out what are the aspects or the types of questions we should ask for this specific candidate. And for this strategy step, I'm thinking to assign this to DeepSeek so that it can reason and provide the plan here. And once the interview plan is ready, we can pass it to the next agent. And in this case, I'm planning to use the orchestrator worker node for the whole part of coming up with a comprehensive set of interview questions. You can see that there are competency-based questions, technical job-specific questions, situational behavioral questions, and company culture fit questions here. You can separate each of these sections into separate agents. You can do that if you want, but the reason why I use an orchestrator worker node is because of my expectation for this specific step. Now, if you don't know yet, an orchestrator worker node on MyPal is a type of node that allows you to have a manager agent that can plan a to-do list and like instruct other agents to do something to complete a bigger objective for you. So in this case, the bigger objective is to generate a comprehensive set of questions for the interview. And the overall principle is that I would need questions that cover these 4 types of questions so that it could be as like comprehensive as possible. But this is the overall objective and the overall principle. I actually want the agent to be flexible in its exact outcome because like for me, I think we don't have to follow an exact template of like having 5 competency based questions, 5 this, 5 this, 5 this. We should let the AI to decide how many questions it should have for each type depending on the profile of the candidate. So if the candidate doesn't show enough of their technical capabilities, we probably should ask more technical questions. Or if they have some red flags in terms of behavioral, we should focus more on behavioral questions. So because of the flexibility I desire in this case, I would let an orchestrator worker node to take over in this case so that essentially I have a manager agent to plan out how many questions I need for each type, as well as the specifics I should consider when generating questions for each type. And then it will assign to the interview questionnaire generator agent to generate the questions for each type based on the instructions of the manager agent. So that's why we will be using this here. And in this case, I think let's use OpenAI O3 to add more perspectives in this discussion, because we already have DeepSeek R1 before that. And now, after the interview questionnaire is ready, human interview can take that interview questionnaire and execute the interview. And after that, they can come back with a decision whether or not to accept this candidate as an official employee. And similar to the last steps, we also have two options here, yes or no. Now, but unlike the last step, in this case, I don't want the workflow to stop immediately if it's a no. I actually have some jobs for the workflow to do here. So if it's a no, I would like it to create a hiring decision debrief report, because as far as I know, many companies that have an ATS system do have some policy to requiring the documentation of hiring decisions. So I think I would want the AI to do this before writing a personalized rejection letter too. And then if otherwise, if it's a yes, we would execute a post-acceptance workflow in which we can like do things like writing the report, of course, writing the a personalized acceptance letter, writing a welcome announcement to announce the hiring of this specific employee to the team. And we can do some skill gap analysis for this candidate to make an onboarding or training plan here. So that's how I think about this in this case. And the post-acceptance and post-rejection steps, I think I can use Claude 3.5 Sonnet in combination with OpenAI, because OpenAI is still pretty good at generating structured reports. So like report like this, I think, or the onboarding training plan could be handled by OpenAI pretty reliably. But Claude 3.5 Sonnet is still my go-to choice when it comes to writing content that require the following of a specific brand voice. So I want to use that for steps like writing the acceptance letter or welcome announcement or rejection letter. So that's it. That's how I'm thinking how I will set up this workflow. By the way, I think I haven't mentioned that. For this part here, we are going to use a router node instead of the gate. So essentially, a gate will force stop the workflow if a certain condition is met. But for a router node, we can actually like branch the workflow into two different paths, and we can still execute things after that, but following different processes. So that's why because I still want like have two tasks for the AI to do after the rejection. So I will use router so that the workflow continue. It will continue in a different path. So yeah, I think that's it. Now in this video for this system, I would like to introduce you to another node that we should leverage in this case. It's called Subflow node. Let me put it here so that it's bigger. It's called Subflow node on my PAL. This is because as you can see, our process here is divided into four very specific processes. And we can actually turn each of these four processes into a separate workflow and calling them and nesting them together into one big parent workflow. This is useful, especially for cases like this, because we can separate the concerns. In this case, it's easier to maintain every individual workflow than trying to combine everything at once. And also, it could be more convenient for us to leverage our AI systems, because for maybe sometimes we just want to run one specific process here only. For example, we may have an edge case where a candidate is referred to our company and they can skip the CV screening process. So we just need the interview questionnaire process, for example. Then you can just open this workflow separately to run this without having to run everything from start to finish like this. So let's leverage this Subflow feature in our end-to-end job application processor, okay? So now that you have a clearer understanding of what you would like to build, let's start building that inside MyPow. As I was saying this, I just realized that in the past I used to have 2 AI workflows for CV screening and interview questionnaire generator that we may be able to reuse for this AI system. Let's take a look at them, okay? I think I have one job application. Yeah, this one, job candidate CV screener. I have created a while ago. And this AI workflow will take in the candidate CV and the job description, which is good. Then it do the pre-screening. So this is the minimum requirements, which is good. And then core competency assessment, then cultural fit and other factors, and then a radar chart to visualize the assessment, and final recommendation. So it's not exactly the same, but I think it's good. Especially I like that in the past I have this step creating a radar chart to visualize the candidate's performance across the 3 aspects that we just evaluated in the last 3 steps. So this is good. I didn't remember that I have this step. Essentially, this step is done by my data visualizer agent, and this agent has access to the Python execution code tool, so that it can generate the data visualization chart for me. Now, I think this job candidate CV screener is good enough to be used for the first part of our AI system. Just one small thing, I think I would need to change the model of this CV screener to Gemini 2.0 Flash instead of GPT-4o mini. So it would be faster and more higher quality too. GPT-4o mini is good, but it's good for general tasks, and since it's a very it's a pretty cheap model, I tend to use it for simple and straightforward tasks rather than tasks that require reasoning and like this one. So I'm gonna change it to Gemini 2.0 Flash, and for the max output tokens and temperature, I think I'm gonna leave it to auto. So auto means that the AI will flexibly decide the max output tokens and temperature for me depending on the task. So I don't have any specific requirement for the length of the output or the creativity level in this case, so I'm just gonna leave it to auto. Okay, and I'm using the same CV screener across these different steps here. So I think we are good to go. Yeah. Now that the first part is done, let us move on to the next part, which is interview questionnaire generator. I also have a workflow for this. So this CV-based job interview questionnaire generator. And this AI workflow would take in the candidate CV and job description. Yes, this is good. Then it do a CV analysis to essentially highlight areas that require further clarification or exploration during the interview. Yes, this is good. And so this is similar to the profile analysis interview strategy step here. But I think that I will want DeepSeek to execute this step like in my diagram. So I'm gonna opening this agent. So this is a very simple agent I made a long time ago. So I definitely should improve this. I'm gonna improve the background system instructions of this agent so that it works better. So I will. So essentially, the purpose of this agent is to do profile analysis and interview strategy. And so I'm gonna paste the overall objective here and click enhance with AI. And so this is a built-in feature on MyPal where we will help you enhance the system instructions of your AI agent based on some raw input from you. Then I can rename it to something like job interview strategist or planner. And then I will make sure to let DeepSeek R1 to take over in this case. Okay, let me update this agent. Yes, and now it's will be done by job interview strategist. And this is the I will need to make sure to provide the CV and then review the candidate CV provided, identify all of this. So yes, it is good, but I think this step forgot to mention the job description provided in the first step. So let me put it for me personally, to mention the input from humans or the output of previous steps. I often have this kind of formula to provide these references to the agent. So I have this given this information part here, and then I mentioned first of all is a candidate CV, and it would be this one, and second one is the job description, and it would be this one. So on MyPal, you can use the add symbol to mention the human input values, or use this hashtag symbol to mention the output of previous AI steps. In this case, we don't have any previous AI steps here. We only have one previous step, which is human input. So that's why when I press hashtag, you don't see any options. But that's the idea. Now, some people ask me how they should mention the values of human inputs and output previous steps. Do they really have to follow this similar formula that I use? The answer is no. So this is, you have full control and full freedom of this. You can mention these values in any way that you see fit. This is just my personal preference because I want to clearly highlight and separate the different sections for the AI to easily understand. So I use the hashtag symbol and this like capitalized section heading for it, but you can put it in any way you want. Like it could be like this, it could be like this, you can do like this. So it's up to you to decide how you want to mention the values. Just keep in mind the way MyPal works is that when we run this AI workflow, MyPal will replace all of these mentions with the actual value of the workflow run. So for example, this purple candidate CV here would be replaced by the content of the CV, or this job description here would be replaced by the content of the job description. So keep that in mind, and you can like put the prompt in any way that you see fit. So that's it for the CV analysis, or we can say interview plan strategy. Okay. Now the first step is ready. We can move on to the next steps, which is to generate the questions of different types. We have skill-based, behavioral, scenario-based, and cultural fit questions. So they are quite similar to the types of questions I'm planning to do here. Not exactly the same, but I think they are also okay. So we can use the same questions here. The only thing that we need to fix is that we need to use the orchestrator worker node in this case instead of 4 different single agents. So let me create a new orchestrator worker node in this case. In this case, I would want this orchestrator worker to generate the full interview questionnaire, and its job is to orchestrate these agents. So I think I have 4 agents that I have built. One is generate skill-based questions. Another is behavioral questions. So these are existing agents I have built for these steps, so I'm gonna reuse them here. Scenario-based questions and cultural fit questions here. So I give this orchestrator worker node 4 different agents for it to manage, and its task is to orchestrate the generation of a comprehensive set of interview questions for the following job candidate. So the candidate profile, I would mention their CV. Now we also need to give the job description too for reference here from human, as well as the interview strategy. So this interview strategy is generated by AI, an AI step. So I'm gonna use the hashtag simple to mention it here. And now I would set the max task to plan to 4 because there are 4 different types of questions here. And I think I should be more specific a little bit about what I expect this manager agent to do. So the let me put it, given the following information. Now my instruction for this is flexibly design. No, let me put it, the questionnaire must have questions of all 4 types, which are behavioral questions, scenario-based questions, cultural fit questions, and skill-based questions. But you can decide how many questions is needed for each type, as long as the total questions are around, let's say 15 or 20. So this is up to you to decide, like how, based on the typical length of your job interviews, how many job interviews you need. So I give a more specific instruction like this, so the manager agent can understand how I expect the manager agent to orchestrate the other agents. So yeah. I think it's pretty good, but let me go to each of these agents here to improve them a little bit. So this one, in the past, I used to put the title of the agent this long, and I don't like it now. So let me rename this agent. So behavioral question, job interview. Behavioral questions generator, and let me enhance this system instructions with AI. So this is similar to how the way we enhance the system's instructions of the first step, the job interview strategy. And in this case, let's use O3 for this. Let me set some here. And I think it's good. So let's save this. So as I have planned, I will use OpenAI O3 for all of these questionnaire generator agents. So that's what I'm gonna do. I will enhance each of these questionnaire generator agent, and I will also assign OpenAI O3 to them too. Enhance with AI and add OpenAI O3 Mini. Okay, good. Okay, let me reselect. Good. Okay, save this, and I will do the same for these agents too. Job interview cultural fit question generator. Enhance the system's instructions with AI so that it works better. Then add O3 Mini as the model. And last but not least, the skills-based questionnaire generator. The skill-based question generator. Enhance with AI. And use O3. Here. Okay, good. Okay, now that my 4 agents have been enhanced, I will use this interview questionnaire to replace the last 4 steps here. I will remove this and this and this and this, and so that my workflow now will have just exactly 3 steps. Provide initial input of the job candidate CV and job description, strategizing the interview by DeepSeek R1, and generating the full interview questionnaire by OpenAI O3 Mini with these 4 types of questions. This is exactly the way I have planned this process, so it's good to go now. Now I will let this workflow here, and let's move on to the next part of our of our system here, the last phase, post-interview phase. So in this case, we will have two different processes, post-acceptance and post-rejection. So since I don't have any of these workflows ready yet, I'm gonna go back to my workflows page and create these two workflows. So the first workflow here is post-interview, post-acceptance job application processor. I'm not sure how to do this, how to rename this, but just go with this. And and this is the process. I think I'm just copy this and paste it here. So need to given something, could be job candidate CV, job description, and then we have maybe some evaluation from human, from like AI and human in general. So job candidate CV, job candidate description, evaluation. Yeah, I think so. And based on all of this, it will generate a hiring decision debrief report, then acceptance letter here, and then welcome announcement here, and then skill gap analysis here, and then onboarding and training plan. Okay, pretty good. So let me generate this workflow with AI. So this workflow start with getting the input from a job candidate CV, job description, evaluation, and then generate hiring decision debrief report, acceptance letter, welcome announcement, skill gap analysis, and onboarding training plan. Now, I think this is good, like the way I have wanted this workflow to be, but I think the first three input fields here should be merged together into one human input step only, instead of dividing it into three like this. So let me regenerate this a bit. Given job candidate, yeah, and let's regenerate with AI. So I think if I put it into a one line like that, it would understand this as I can collect all of this information in one step. So this is pretty good. Now for each of these steps, to be honest, I don't have any existing agents specialized for these steps yet. So what I'm gonna do is that I will leave all of these agents fields as blank, and MyPal will automatically suggest a new AI agent specialized for each step for me, so I can further customize later on if I need. Actually, maybe let me quickly check if I have a skill gap analyzer. Skill gap? No, I don't think so. Yeah, so I don't have any AI agents ready for all these 5 steps. So let's just leave all of the agent fields blank for now and create this workflow. So now my workflow is created successfully, and this is how it looks. It collects the candidate CV, job description. Actually, the candidate CV could be in, let me specify the 5 types. Then the job description, this should be a text because I collect the job description as the text in my previous 3 workflows. And evaluation notes. Then we have the hiring decision debrief report generator to create a hiring decision debrief report. Here. Yeah, I think so. Then yeah, I think in this debrief report, we should have a final decision. This fifth part, instead of recommendation, it could be the final decision. Here, final decision and rationale. Instead of recommendation, because at this point the decision is already made. We just need to generate the hiring decision debrief report now. Then for this report, actually let me change the model to O3. So I still find OpenAI models the most reliable choice when it comes to generating structure content like reports. So I want to use it for that. Generate acceptance letter here. I think I'm gonna use Claude 3.5 Sonnet for that here. And then I can, if you have a specific brand voice you want this acceptance letter writer to follow, you can select the brand voice here. So for example, maybe I can use my voice, Sylvia style, when writing the acceptance letter, so that it's just be like more human. So it's up to you to decide. I can update this agent here. Welcome announcement. Yeah, and I can add Claude 3.5 Sonnet as the writer, and also select my brand voice so that it's more human for this announcement. Then conduct skill gap analysis. Let's leave O3 to do this. And then also I think in the skill gap analysis we should put the evaluation notes in this case too. So it would be a valuable information for the skill gap analysis. After which it will use the onboarding and training plan developer powered by O3 Mini to create an onboarding and training plan for this accepted job candidate. This is job description, skill gap analysis. Yeah, I think so. I think it is ready to go. So let me mark this as an officially live workflow. And let's move on to the last workflow that we need to be, in this case, the post-rejection job application processor. So let me go back to my workflows and follow a similar step, but this time for post-rejection. And I think the initial input is quite the same. The job candidate CV, job description, and evaluation notes. And then we have a hiring decision debrief report, similar to the last step, but in this time we want a rejection letter instead of an acceptance letter. So let's put that here too, and let's generate the workflow with AI. Okay, it's doing it again. It's splitting the three inputs here into three different steps. It's okay, but it's not necessary. So I will remove. I will come back and just mark it in one step. Generate with AI. Okay, this time it's working better. Generate a hiring decision debrief report and rejection letter. Now, note that we already have created a hiring decision debrief report in the last workflow. So instead of letting MyPal creating another agent in this case, you should reuse that same hiring decision debrief report generator here. And generate rejection letter, we don't have one yet. So I think I can leave it as blank, and MyPal will help me with the creation of this agent. Now let's create this. Okay, now the workflow is ready. This workflow is much simpler. So it takes the candidate CV of types PDF or doc. Then the job description could be text. and then evaluation notes as well. And then I have this hiring decision debrief report generator to generate the report. Generate this rejection letter is done by this agent, and it's would be powered by Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and it's trained on my style so that it's writing more human. But make sure to mention the right references here. I saw that the generate rejection letter step only have access to the evaluation notes, but I think this is not sufficient. We actually also need the job, at least the job candidate CV. So at least we know the name here, and job description. At least we know what job they are applying for too. So yeah, so now that we have make sure all of the inputs are provided and the workflow is ready to go, let me mark it as official, and yes, and we are done. Now we at this point we have already built all the subflows needed for this end-to-end job application processor. We have the CV screener, interview questionnaire generator, post-acceptance processor, and post-rejection processor. Now, all we need to do is to combine them all together into one big parent workflow. And assign and configure the right conditional logic to facilitate these parts. So let me go back to workflow and create a new workflow. In this case, instead of generate with AI, let's start from scratch because in this case, the heavy part is the conditional logic part, not the generate the prompt or the instructions. So I prefer to start from scratch so I can better control the flow in this case. The name could be, let me just put it end-to-end job application processor. And the first step would be a human input step to for us to collect the the two most important inputs to kickstart this whole process: applicant CV and job description. So, or candidate CV in the form of document, and it would be docx or PDF, and then job description. It's required to job description in the form of text and required. Okay, now that this is ready, let me rename it to candidate application information. Now, after this first step, the next step would be the CV screener step, and this is a subflow because I'm gonna call the job candidate CV screener to process the candidate CV and job description from this human input for me. Now, as you can see on my PAL, when you call a child workflow inside a parent workflow, you can have the option to preview initial human input fields. So when you run this workflow, you don't have to re-enter the information again. In this case, the job candidate CV screener has the same inputs like this human input step here. It still requires candidate CV and job description. So what I'm gonna do is that I will mention the input from the candidate CV of this step, application info, and the job description for this input also from application info. And when I run this workflow, I won't have to repeat the information one more time. Now, the new Subflow, like this node can be renamed to route 1, like phase 1 or something, phase 1 screening. Okay, it's done. Now, so this part is done. after the CV screener step, we would have some sort of conditional logic here. If the candidate is accepted to the interview, we will route them to the interview questionnaire generator workflow. If not, we will stop this workflow, and we can use the gate node for this purpose. Now, in this gate node, you don't have you can just use plain text to guide the gatekeeping condition. In this case, the gatekeeping condition would be based on the decision of human of whether or not to accept the candidate into the interview. So actually, I think I will need to add a human input step first before the gate node here, so that we can collect the decision from the human. So post-screening decision, and this is the post-screening decision would be like the accepted to interview round, and it could be a checkbox like true or false. If you want it to be a checkbox, you can just use a boolean in this case, or if you want it to be more descriptive, you can use a select and specify the option to be yes or no, and this is required. Now, after human provide this input, so you can notice that in the screening step, we have the AI to make the recommendation, but I believe the human should still be the one to finalize the decision. So I still collect the actual decision from the human in this case, and after the human provides their decision, we can have the gate node to post-screening gate to stop the workflow if the candidate is not accepted to interview, and given the fact that the human's decision is, and I'm gonna use this as simple to mention the accepted to interview route decision from human from the post-screening decision step. Now this gate node is ready. Let's move on to the next step. What if the candidate is accepted to the interview? In that case, we would call the interview questionnaire generator as a subflow to execute this process. So I'm gonna add a new node here. This time it's a subflow node, and that node is the CV. Yes, this one, job interview questionnaire generator, and I will also preview the initial human input fields, just like the way I do it for the phase 1 screening step here. Let me candidate CV coming from application info, candidate CV job description coming from this. So this is good. Let me rename it to phase 2 interview. And now, after this workflow is executed, we will move on this part where we have, again, a conditional logic to process whether the final decision for the candidate is accepted to the job or not. If yes, then we will call the post-acceptance subflow. If no, we will call the post-rejection workflow. So in this case, we will use a router node. Let me actually, before that, we would need to ask for the human about their final decision about this as well. The AI won't make any final decision here. So this is post-interview decision. And it would take the accepted to job or not. This could be a select, yes or no. And we may have another field to ask for some like comments from interviewer, raw comments, and it could be optional in this case. Or actually, so it's up to you. I think you can let it optional or you can let it required if you want. Like I think all of the companies I work with require the interviewer to provide their comments here. So for now, let's just make it required. So it can better guide for the last step. So this is done. Now, after the human provide their decision, we can have a router node to process the candidate, the application accordingly. So the router node would be post-interview router. And for this router node, we'll have two different paths that the router node can follow. One path would lead to the job post acceptance job application processor here. Another node would lead to the post rejection job application processor here. Okay, now let me rename this to post acceptance. And we can preview the initial human inputs for this post-acceptance job application processor. One is candidate CV, job description, evaluation notes. Evaluation notes would come. I think it would come from the raw comments of post-interview decision here, as well as the I think maybe that. And then actually, if you want, you can also like provide some CV, provide as much information as needed. Like for example, besides from the raw comments post interview, we can actually provide the CV screening result. The CV screening result would come from this phase 1 screening step, and as well as the raw comments too, the post interview raw comments. So we just give like a comprehensive picture about this candidate. So this is good. Now for the post rejection, it will be quite similar. Let me preview all of this information. And evaluation notes, to be fast, I can actually copy this input here and paste it here. Okay. Now, in the post-interview router, I would need to make sure to put a routing logic here. So there are two paths that the workflow can follow. One is the post-acceptance if the candidate is accepted. Two is post-rejection if the candidate is rejected. And the routing logic is route to the right processor based on the final decision of human of whether or not to accept the candidate to the job. But don't forget to mention human decision here from the post-interview decision accepted to job, so that the AI would have access to this input when it makes its decision about the path to choose. Okay, now I think that's it. Now this is the big parent workflow that we are going to use, and this workflow would include 4 subflows in one single flow, and it would make it easier for you or your team members or for anyone to do an end-to-end process of evaluating a job application without having to switch between different workflows in this case. So let me So now that the workflow is ready, why don't we try running this workflow to see how it works? Let's start a new workflow run and provide all the inputs requested by this big parent workflow to kickstart the process. First, I would need a candidate CV, which I will take from my test materials library, and a job description. I will take a random job description in the internet. This one is from OpenAI, and I can start the process. Now, this process will be kickstarted with phase 1 screening done by my Subflow, a CV screener. Now, as you can see, because we have already configured the logic to preview the initial human input fields, all these human inputs in the user input step has already been populated from based on the information I have put in the application info step here. So all I need to do is take a look to double check and continue to let the CV screener do its job. Next, I would have Gemini 2.0 Flash do what I expect it to do. It will to check out the CV and provide evaluations across the 3 different aspects. And as you can see, it's very, very fast. I barely even able to keep up with its speed in generating the results here. And for every of these aspects, it provides the overall score, rationale, as well as detailed breakdown. So fast. This is why I still like to use Gemini for tasks that require speed like this. And this is the create radar chart where it will generate a chart to visualize the candidate's performance based on my scores provided from the previous steps. Oh, this is a pretty beautiful radar chart right there. Pre-screening, cultural fit, and core competency, all based on the candidate's performance evaluations from the previous steps. And this is the final recommendation by the AI, and it recommends that advancing this candidate to the next stage of the recruitment process with a final score of 4 out of 5. And this is the rationale and some conditions, considerations and notes to guide the next step. Now, because this candidate is accepted to the interview round, actually I can select the decision to be yes. You would see that the workflow would continue. So this is the gatekeeping node, and it made a decision to continue this workflow. And advance the workflow to phase 2 interview, and the first step has already been populated with the input 2. So just click continue, and we will get the interview questionnaire generated for us. Okay, this is the interview strategy first done by DeepSeek. So DeepSeek share its thinking here. So let's start by reviewing, etc. So for planning and reasoning tasks or strategizing tasks like this, I prefer using reasoning models like DeepSeek R1 or OpenAI O1, O3, or even Gemini 2.0 Flash. All of these models are reasoning models, so I think they are better fit for tasks that require thinking like this one. And now this is recommend the areas requiring clarification, based on which we can generate the full set of interview questions, like the impact, experience in distributed systems, blockchain relevance, and transitioning from electrical engineering to AI. Yeah, this is an interesting aspect that from the profile of the candidate that this model picked up. And this is the interview strategy. So research alignment, technical preparation, behavioral questions, etc. And then all of this guidance will be passed on to the interview questionnaire step, where my orchestrator worker will plan the four types of questions and assign the right agent to do each. And you can take a look at the task details here to see how the manager agent orchestrate the other agents. So it tell the behavioral questionnaire generator to create 4 behavioral questions for the interview and focus on these things. And as you can see, it also make the prompt very specific, like consider the candidate's experience experience as a founder and research assistant, and their role is in mentoring peers in machine learning. So this is an interesting thing of the orchestrator worker note that you should take notes of. So as you can see, the manager agent is generating the prompt for the executor agents itself without me having to predefine everything. And the prompt is flexibly decided based on the context of the workflow. So that ensures that the output of each of these worker agents would be the best it could be. So if you recall, when I prompt this orchestrator node, I told it to decide the number of questions of each type on its own. So it will assign 4 questions to the behavioral type, 4 for this, and 3 for this cultural fit, and 5 for this. So 4 for 3 is 11, and 5 is 16. So it's still within the range of questions I want, which is 15 to 20. So this is great. Now, as you can see, this very simple second workflow interview questionnaire has just 3 steps, but it's very powerful. It has already generated the full set of questions for me already. So now I can, my human interviewer can go ahead and interview this specific candidate, and they can come back when the interview is done, is to provide the final decision about this candidate, whether or not to accept this candidate to the job. And if the answer is yes, for example, we can provide some raw comments, just like, let's say, I'm not sure, like need more experience in doing Gen AI research. I don't know. This is just a random raw comment. And when I continue this workflow, my router node will route this application to the post-acceptance path, because the decision here is yes, right? So the post-acceptance subflow will be triggered, and as you can see here, it has populated the input of the workflow already for me. So this is the job description, this is the post-interview raw comments, and I can continue this. And it will move on to the next step, which is generate the hiring decision debrief report. Here, this is done by O3 Mini based on the structure that I want: candidate overview, job description alignment, evaluation summary, strengths and weaknesses, and final decision and rationale. Now, next up is a acceptance letter done by Claude 3.5 Sonnet in the style that I want, and the welcome announcement. Here. And then the skill gap analysis done by O3 Mini. So so it recognized that this is the skills from required by the job. This is the skills present in the candidate CV, and these are the comparison highlighting the gaps in this case. So the suggestions for bridging these gaps would be gain experience in distributed systems, focus on system design and implementation, code quality practices, and deep learning performance optimization, research on AI impacts, and this is a summary. Now, it will move on to developing a comprehensive onboarding training plan for this candidate in order to onboard them to the job. This is the skill gap analysis summary. This is the training objectives personalized for this candidate, and these are some training modules recommended by the AI. In reality, you may want to maybe upload some of your own knowledge sources to this onboarding plan developer so that it has access to your existing system, existing library of training materials, and it can recommend the relevant materials for the candidate right in its response to. Now actually I just noticed that in the post acceptance step, in the acceptance letter here, this is quite not the right acceptance letter. So this letter is written from the perspective of the candidate, in this case, right? I think so, yeah. So this is written from the perspective of the candidate, but I want this to actually be written from the perspective of the employer. So I think this is a problem of the prompt. Let us take a look at this to see how it goes. I think, I know the problem here. The way I set up this agent is that this is a job offer acceptance letter. So it should be a job offer letter drafter, not acceptance letter, because I put the acceptance thing here. The AI may mistake it that this is written from the standpoint of the job applicant accepting the offer letter from the employer. So that's why the setup of the agent is on that from that perspective, as you can see here, like expression of gratitude for the job offer, etc. So this is actually, for this you can quickly fix this by going here, and let's change everything a bit. This is not a job offer acceptance letter, but this is a job offer letter drafter, and from perspective of employer. Let me be that clear and enhance with AI, so that the AI can help me reset up this AI agent so that it's going on the right path. Okay, this is the background. This is the job offer letter structure, expected output format. And then I can still use Cloud 3.5 Sonnet for that. So yeah, and then I can update this agent again and regenerate this agent. Let me regenerate this. Yeah, so this is the offer here. Yeah, actually, it's also, I think there's also another problem in the prompting. As you can see that in this case, it seems to not knowing the name of the job applicant as well as the specific job description. It's mistaken as the research engineer at my Power Labs here. I guess my guess is that the way I have missed. I have forgotten to mention the job applicant CV and the job description in this generate acceptance letter step, so that the Subflow would know its job. So let me go back to that workflow right here. This is the end-to-end job application processor. So let me find the post-acceptance job application processor here. Go into the generate acceptance letter. Oh yeah, I'm right. I'm right. This is the I have provided the job description and the evaluation notes, but I would need the job candidate CV as well. So at least the AI would know the candidate's name and all. So yeah, now that this is updated, let's reload this workflow run so that it fetches all of the latest settings. Go to the post acceptance step, go to the generate acceptance letter here, and regenerate this one. Okay, Cloud 3.5 Sonnet is on it. And okay, and this is the letter offer. Now, I think there's still one thing that is mistaking here. It's still mistaking the employer to be MyPal and not OpenAI. I think it may be because it mistaken the company name OpenAI with the name of my account. So I'm using my PayPal account, so maybe it's makes mistakening a bit. Let me double check the yeah, in the job description it specified that this is from OpenAI. Yeah, then I think let me double check here. I can added an important rule to follow. The employer name must be correctly referred to based on the job description. Don't make up the name. Yeah, sometimes the AI agent won't work exactly the way we expect right from the get-go. So you should always like continue iterating on your prompt to troubleshoot your AI agent, and that's totally fine. That's just how AI works. Its nature is flexible, so it means there are thousands of ways it can come up or it can interpret the instructions and come up with the output. So our job is to be very explicit and specific with our instructions. So there's no like gray area for the AI to misinterpret anything. So let me go back to the generate acceptance letter and regenerate again. Hopefully this time it will work exactly the way I want. Okay, yeah, this is correct. This is OpenAI. This is the employer, and this is the name of the candidate. Yeah, and then this is the acceptance letter correctly refer to the position, the employer, the experience of the candidate, etc. Yeah, so I think it's good. Now as you can see, within minutes we have already processed the full job application of this candidate. You can try running this again, and this time you may try giving it a different decision, like no instead of yes, so that so you can see how it handle rejected candidates too. But for now, my video is quite long already, so I will stop here, and as usual I will include the links to this workflow so you can try it yourself, as well as duplicate it for your to your own MyPal workspace for further customization if needed. Thank you for sticking around, and I will see you again in my next video in my series of 30-day challenge of one AI app a day. Goodbye.